Do you know about human capital formation? Human means we are human. We are human. And capital. When there are made investment on human, then there is a said what human capital. Okay. When capital are made investment on human, then word will be known as human capital. Formation. So we will understand formation of human capital. Okay. What is human capital? How can be done formation? So let's understand role of education in society. Role of education is the most important. Okay. Here there may be said what without education in society will be uncomfortable. Okay, people of society will be uncomfortable. Here there will be there society people of society will have lack of facilities, lack of awareness related to education I am talking. Okay, so lack of people of a society will feel what lack of awareness, lack of education and related to education. Okay, so here education plays a crucial role in society. Okay, there is no doubt in this context what a role of education in society, there is no doubt. Whereas without education, without gaining education, peoples are becoming successful. In the context of a successful people can be what can become successful without gaining education, but when our age is grow up then we learn something through growing age, through our growing age we learn new something, and this keep learning always, regularly you can say. So here education. Okay, education, but here can there be said what if a person the person who have a skill, who have education, so this person will have what opportunity you can say. When we say what if you don't know about spoken English, then you will not have opportunity. Like this, such sentences are said by the some people. Am I right or wrong? Multiple times we listen. This is a sentence statement. What by people? What do we listen by people? People says what if you don't know about speaking English, then you will not have more opportunity. And the regarding of work you can say. So now my point is, when people will learn to speak English, then people will have, first of all people will have what opportunity, more opportunity, rather than people who don't have a skill about English. Okay, whereas the people who know about English, about speaking English, so these people will realize what confidence in a life of a person is important in some aspects. Okay, in a stage confidence is important. Without confidence you can say people is living their life. Okay, people is living their life, and in a news, in a report we listen like this, such a news we listen sometimes. So confidence can be in different categories, in different field, not only in English. So role of confidence plays crucial roles. Okay, crucial role in different field. Are you getting? Whereas here English, speaking English, that comes in the category of where education. If we are learning education, that means what? Education. So here, I would say, in my opinion, but I would say, in my opinion, in my perspective, but we should learn language if we according to net. Okay, according to net. Whereas our education is considered in about there are mention what there is a mention in our Indian Constitution about access to education. So there is a one barrier, you can say, what a high face about government school. We know what is the status of a government school. Whereas if we compare what with private school, in private school where people, you can say principal of private school, official, we say authorities, okay, members of private school. So in private school there are what there are paid high fees by parents of the children. Okay, so here there is one barrier, that is what high fees. High fees in a stage there is the most difficult, okay, to people. But this becomes stop. This doesn't stop. Rather, this will continue. What about fees? So here my point is what we say difference between government school and private school in the regarding of education. So here there can be improvement by the government, because there are government school, okay, government school. So here government need to pay attention on government, because in government school there are not provided quality education, quality, and whereas you can say what there are not paid attention. Okay, so role of education in society. Now our context will be what if we will have education, then what can be done by education, by gaining education. Okay, role of education in society. Here there are mentioned about role of education in society. Education is sought as it confers higher earning capacity on people. Okay, higher earning capacity on people. And here we can say what people thinks what purpose to gain education is what to earn money more. In other side we can say what in a stage there is a right, we earn more money in the through education, but there is not purpose, there is not a purpose of education what to earn money more. This is not purpose in the context of education. Through education we can learn something, new things, whatever are provided by the school, by the colleges, by the university. Okay, so this was point what by people there are said what more on point people think what the purpose of education is to earn more money. And today this is a situation, there is a status in the regarding of education. People think also today people think what education, purpose of education is to earn more money. It gives one a better social standing and pride. This is right. If a person have person is educated, then person will behave what equality. Person can speak with confidence. Person can take participate in everywhere there are need. Okay, according to need. So education gives one better social standing where we can stand to speak something. Okay, according to need. And here we see what we don't get justice easily. Okay, we need to fight to get justice. Okay, I am not saying physical crime. Through our education, through rules. Okay, through rules. Okay, there are rules. Through rules we can fight, we can get justice through you can say law. Okay, it enables one to make a better choice in life. About it we discussed what we have education, we are educated person, then we will be opportunity, we will have opportunity more as compared to person who don't now who don't have education, who are not educated person. Okay, so absolutely there is no doubt in the regarding of this what if we have education, then and with equality there will have what more opportunity. That provides knowledge to understand the changes that are taking place in society. We can think, we can solve. Okay, when we have knowledge, when we have information, then we can solve something problems, something cases. Okay, in our society where we live, because of we are learned what how to speak, how to write. There are connection in our place. When we face in our life a lot of things, difficult challenges, then there is one option you can say. And other side, there are some people who say what we learn a lot of in our life. When we stand in our life alone, then we learn a lot of things. There is a right, and I will accept this point. We really we learn new things when we stand alone in our life. Then, but apart from education, we learn new thing in our life apart from education. Okay, and it should be okay. There should be. What is human capital? What is human capital? Okay, it refers to the stock of skills and expertise of a nation and a print in time. It is the sum total of skill and expertise. When can be said people is human capital? When can be said? Okay, when can it be said people will be human capital? People is human capital. When can be said? So here there is some point. Look what I am educated, but with a skill. A skill is other aspects in the field of education. A skill is other aspect. A skill is what according to our need, according to our interest. A skill will provide, you can say, earning. A skill will help to people a lot of. Okay, and in a skill we make expertise, we take experience according time to time. Okay, time to time, and there is a compulsory. So here human capital there can be said, human capital there can be said when people will have a skill apart from education, then there can be said people is human capital. Okay, point is what? A skills. People should have a skills apart from education. Then we can say what there will be definition of human capital. It refers to the stock of a skill. And here I would add on what people should have a skills. Okay, should have a skills. Suppose people teach people teach what teaching. Peoples are in the category of teaching. So this is a skill. And now you would ask what are the skills? Okay, I am teaching you. Teaching is a skill. When you have when you teach to your student, so this is a skill. But in this skill, in this teaching category, we teach for you can say 1-2 years. Then we can say we will have what skills and the regarding of teaching. Whereas there are a lot of category where can be what build skills. Okay, so here, so according to need, according to interest, we can build a skills. Okay, and through a skills a lot of can be done. Okay, it is the sum total of a skill and expertise. This is the definition of human capital. Expertise. Today you okay, in the context of a skill, let's understand what a skill. Today you realize what about teacher. Let's understand. Teacher is teaching to their student for you can say 10 years. 10 years. Now can you say these people would have skills in the regarding of what teaching or not? Absolutely. Answer will be what yes, because this teacher gave how many times, how many years? 12 years. 12 years is not a small year. Okay, time is compulsory. Then we can make we can become expert. Okay, in a sector, in field. Okay, so now this teacher will have would have what a skills in the context of, in the regarding of teaching. So this person, a skills means what? In our sector, in our field, we have what strong experience in the regarding of teaching. Strong experience means we are sure what yeah, I can solve whatever will come problem in the regarding of teaching. We have confidence when we spend time with our work. Then after time we realize what this is not difficult. Okay, I can do this whenever I want. Okay, like this. And whereas you will go to anywhere place, then you can say what now I can teach students. I have a confidence. Okay, because you have confidence, that's why you can say what yeah, anywhere I can teach. This is example, and this example, through this example we can understand in other sectors, in other field. Okay, in other field. This is just example to understand about skills. And when we are skills, then we are known as expert. So what are the sources of human capital formation? Okay, means here we understood what is the capital, what is the human capital. Okay, human capital, when human capital, it will refer it is defined, what there is a defined about human capital. When human will have a skills, when human will have a skills, it will define, this will be known as what human capital formation. Means now human is able to work to work, and through this work this same woman can earn money, and this earning point will help to GDP. Now this person can come in the context of GDP and also in economy. Now this person is able to define economy, to define a nation. Now this same person will be calculated in economy, in GDP, you can say. Okay, whereas there is a woman who don't have a skill, who don't have a skill, and this person is working, but this person is not earning money. So this absolutely this person will not be included in GDP, in economy for a nation. Absolutely, person who don't have a skill, who don't work, person who work but don't earn money, so absolutely this person will not be included, this person will not be calculated in economy, in GDP, and you can say for a nation. So what are the sources of human capital formation? Through resources can be said what human capital. Through resources, and resources, almost resources will be provided by the government. Then there will be possible to see what human capital in a nation. And there is an example of a country, Japan country. Government of a Japan country had invested more in human, okay, in human capital rather than natural resources. Okay, through human resources, the government of a Japan country had invested more on public, on among peoples, then Japan government have a result in the context of human capital. What are the sources of human capital promotion? Through expenditure on health, human capital can be seen in a nation. Okay, expenditure on health. First of all, health will be better. Person will be healthy. Then, so first of all this. Then second, education. Okay, through education can be spread. Through education can be spread information. Okay, migration, when people will migrate. Before education, person is not getting access to education, that's why people would like to migrate. Then, so before education people will get what, migrate. Here our in the regarding of education we are talking. Okay, now people will be healthy, then people will be able to access education, to gaining education. Whereas people will be healthy, then people can work in the any field according to wants of a person. Expenditure on education. So expenditure, when there will be done expenditure on education, on health. So through expenditure on health, through expenditure on education, can be said human capital. Okay, so these are the resources. These are, and we can say these are major resources. Apart from this, other resources come. Okay, other resources come. Other resources are compulsory. But whereas when major resources will be better for a country, for people. And migration. So importance of migration. People who don't get access to education. So these people, obviously, absolutely, these people will think, what, now we need to migrate to another place. Absolutely, these people will migrate. These people will be migrated. According to need, this people is getting migrated. Migrate. Expenditure on information. There will be a spread information among people. Then people can think what, people can take decision And here we think what when people have a lack of information, lack of education, then we say what result of lack of education, result of lack of information. Okay, so there comes a lot of what there come a lot of problems when person don't have access to education, where person don't have information. Then a skill development program, a skill development program, there are wrote double times. So a skill development program, absolutely, because human capital is related to a skill, so there should be make sure by the government, uh, made sure there should be made sure uh, what the a program in which would be involved what a skill. So this can be done by the government. Okay, now one by one we will understand about the sources of human capital formation. First of all, as we are looking home expenditure on education, now we will understand deeply about this with full information. Expenditure on education, what can be done? Okay, what can be done? It is the most effective way to enhance and enlarge a productive workforce in the country. Absolutely, person have education, then person who are educated, so this person can make a career in any field. And today, not before, today, before, after, people are making their career. So my point is, in different category there can be what made career, because there are a lot of people according to population. If we see, if we look, then absolutely there are a lot of people. So in a special category, in a particularly category, there will be impossible to make a career only in a sector. Absolutely, there will be impossible to make in a category. So through education there will be possible. Through education in a different category can be made career. Okay, and there are competition, so it's not our point, but through education there can be done in a different category. So people what do think, what people what do people think? Okay, clearly, nation and individuals invest in education with the objective of nation, that involves our government. Nation and individual investment in education with the objective of increasing their future income, generating technical skills and creating manpower, improving labor productivity. Okay, now we will understand about expenditure on health. About expenditure on health. So first of all, about it we need to be clear. Here, nation and individual investment in education with the objective of increasing their future income, generating technical skills and creating manpower, improving labor productivity. Let's understand about expenditure on health. In the next slide we will discuss about expenditure on health. We were talking about expenditure on health in back slide. Before this we understood about expenditure on education. We got it, and we have understood about expenditure on education, what can be done by expenditure on education. Now what can be done by expend on education on health? Okay, and as people we know what without being healthy, there will be impossible in some cases. And today people are facing in their life regarding health. And absolutely you may have faced what you would have faced what regarding health. When we feel what unhealthy, then we can feel but when we are unhealthy. So our body is unbalanced when we are unhealthy. We are not able to work, we are not able to think properly. Okay, this and there are a lot of disease in the world, not in our country. Okay, and there is a statement what if whether you are rich or poor, it doesn't matter, disease will come in your life. When if you will be you will live in unsafety place, then it can happen. Okay, it can happen. So when we eat junk food, when we don't eat properly according to time, then we can face what a disease regarding health. So there are a lot of problem, and today people are facing, as I was telling you, today people are facing, whether they are poor, rich, women, men, children, everywhere everybody is facing from health. And here what can be done? Okay, so as much as possible, something could be done regarding health. Okay, a sick liver without a sick liver who are unhealthy. Okay, then it is said what a sick liver person who are sick. Okay, who have sick, a sick liver without access to medical facilities is compulsion. Do you know, when we don't have other option? Okay, when we don't have other option, then there is word used what compulsion, not compulsory. Okay, compulsion. When we don't have other option, then a sick liver without access to medical facilities is compelled to abstain means distance from work, and there is a loss of productivity. Absolutely. Let's suppose, and it can be understood by a student example. If a student will be unhealthy, will be sick, then a student will not be able to study. Okay, to study. And here example is what regarding a student. So a student will think about education, will think about study, will think about a school, college. Yeah. So here regarding according to example of labor, a sick labor without access to medical facility is compelled to distance from work. Here sick labor can work. So here absolutely a sick labor will be will be distance from your work, from their work, and there will be loss of productivity. Person who works, so now person cannot be work, so there cannot be worked by sick labor. So here there will be looked what loss of productivity. The various forms of health expenditure are preventive medicine, curative medicine, social medicine, provisions of clean drinking water, etc. Okay, migration. About medicine, okay, social medicine, provisions of a clean drinking water, various forms of health expenditure. Means according to this, medicine can be solved regarding health, okay, can be solved. To expand on this resources, on this medicine, and especially people, what should be drunk, there should be drunk drunk clean water by a person, then there will be possible. And this medicine can by this medicine can be solved, there can be solved. Migration, which means what, to migrate. People migrates according to their need. Migration, people sometimes migrate from one place to other place in search of better jobs that fetch them higher salaries than what they may get in their native place. So first of all, we are clear about the word migrate. Migrate means when we move from one place to another place, then we use migrate word. And here there are a lot of people who are migrating from one place to another place. These people need what, better job, so that these people can better salaries. If this type of people is facing in their native places to get better services, that's why people would like to migrate from their native place to another place. That's why. Okay. And native place means what? Native means native. This word used to describe about origins, where our main place, where our main work, then it is, this word is used, native word. Okay. So are you got it about migration? There are few explain. It includes the migration of people from rural areas to urban areas in India. Yeah, most of the people migrate from rural areas to urban areas. Most of the people, because there are seen in rural areas what lack of facilities regarding growth in their life. So people is facing in their life regarding to growth, because people lives only one life. Okay. So obviously people would like to what to get better services, better facilities, and there are available in urban areas. Better facilities will be able, then their people will be able to work properly, comfortable. Okay, as comfortable. So almost people migrate from rural areas to urban areas, whereas there is considered what people who live in urban areas. Urban people migrates to another state, you can say, in foreign countries, you can say. So rural people is migrating in urban areas. Urban people is migrating in other state, in other places. In such a way, like this happens. Okay. And this is the main reason, unemployment is the reason for rural to urban migration in India. This employment is seen in rural areas the most. That's why people things what regarding migrate from rural areas to urban areas. And today, even today, people is migrating from their native place to another place to get better jobs. And this is the main reason. So migrate, to describe migrate, unemployment will be better to describe migrate. Okay. And technically qualified people migrate from one country to another country. Person who are qualified, this person will go to another place, that is said what migrate. So just I told you what rural people will migrate from their natives in urban areas, whereas people who are qualified, these people will migrate from one country to another country in order to get high status. Okay. Everywhere is a problem. And expenditure on information about expenditure on education we understood, about expenditure on health we understood, whereas about migration we understood just. And now it's time to understand about expenditure on information that can be earned by education. Yes, people should have information in regarding of their work. And today we see and people face in their life without information. So let's understand regarding information. People spend to acquire information relating to the labor market and other markets like education, health, etc. Okay. Expenditure needed for acquiring information regarding labor markets and other markets like education and health has also become an important source of human capital formation. Here education can be earned by the known information can be spread by the education person who are spreading information, because of a person already have what education. That's why these people are able to spread information. Okay. Without education, I think this will be impossible. 95% this will be impossible to get to spread information without education. Okay. And information, if you want to get information, so there will be better where you want to go in your field, in your career. So here information, to get information will be more better. Okay. And you can feel without information and with information what will be a difference. Okay. Absolutely, what will be difference? Without information there will be work will run slow. With information, work can run fastly. Okay. And with comfortable. So that's why a lot of people a lot of people try to get information in their field. Okay. And the reason will be most a lot of expenditure, an important source of human capital. And human capital and human development. About human capital, that's why there is a considered what human capital formation. Now between human capital and human development, what are human capital is a means to an end. Okay. Whereas human development is an end in itself. Okay. Means capital are made investment on human. then women will be developed. So now women are able to develop, women are developed. So now there is a fix, there is a fix. Now this will be we can say what in the regarding of women there have a development regarding human development. Okay, this will continue in the next slide about it. Let's understand, we will be discussing in the next slide. Apart from this, from here till here we are clear. Let's see what happens in the next slide. Whatever will come with the full information we will discuss the slide. In this slide we will understand about human capital and human development. Okay, then in last you can say human capital. What can be a difference between human capital and human development? Both are human, both are related to human. In one side is what capital, and in one side is development. Am I right? So capital and development, these are needed to understand. Okay, these are needed to understand. So capital means resources. Yeah, whatever are used resources, and to explain this we would use what capital. Okay, when someone person invest in any sector, then so that is what asset for the investment person. Okay, so through resources can be built a something, so it will be what capital. Through resources there will be possible to build a something. Then after some time, after complete this project, this will be known as capital. Let's suppose, as we understood in back slide, human capital, about human capital. Resources are used, resources are provided by the government to public. For example, education, information, health, medical. So there are some government's materials. Okay, so my point is what, when government will provide this type of major resources, then there will be possible to be what human capital among people who don't have what people who are not human capital. So now being now through providing resources for human capital, so now providing resources, human capital can be what person who are not human capital, this can be converted into human capital through providing resources. And when people will get resources, when people will apply these resources on their life, then there will be possible to be human capital. Okay, whereas development, when we see what development in human, then we say what this is human development. Okay, this is human development. Let's understand through this given. Human capital is a means to an end, whereas human development is an end in itself. Okay, next let's us read. Human development is based on the idea that education and health are integral to human well-being, because only when people have the capacity to read and write, and the ability to lead a long and healthy life. This will be human development. So meaning of this sentence is what human development then can be considered when people will be able to read, to write, to speak well, and when people can lead in their life, when people can face difficult challenges in their life, whatever problem will come, and when people will be able healthy, then there can be considered what human development. Whereas in human capital, what is the meaning of this sentence? Human capital treats human beings as a means to an end. The end being the increase in productivity. The end being the increase in productivity. Here, human capital. When we would accept resources to increase our productivity. So here we are using capital. One side we are using capital to increase productivity. Okay, and you work in other sector. So if you need water to increase productivity in your work, in your field, then you would need what? You would need what? Capital. Okay, whatever we use capital, resources. In this view, any investment in education and health is unproductivity if it does not enhance the output of goods and services. In this view, this is saying what any investment in education and health it will be unproductive. Whatever are made investment in the field of education and health, this will be unproductivity. Then productivity, how will productivity increase when investment in education and health will be unproductivity. When investment in health and education will be unproductivity, then absolutely this will not enhance the output of goods and services. Clear? So when we make investment in education, there are a lot of resources. Through resources we can earn capital, you can say. Through this capital we can increase productivity. If investment, whatever we are using to increase productivity, if these resources will not be able to be productive, then absolutely this will not enhance the output of goods and services. Focus on education. Focusing on education. Focus on technical, medical, and agriculture education. Other side, rural education, adult and female education. So on this type of people, they need to get this type of people need to get access to education. This type of people, because almost we see what a small farmer face problems in their life when this person don't have education, then and absolutely rural person will face, and rural person face challenges when rural person goes to the bank, then person don't understand what is this for, don't understand. So like this, a person is facing in their life, not only in banking, also in education sector. For example, a school, when parents go to the admission of their children's, then parents don't understand in environmental of a school. Okay. Whereas adult and female education, there are compulsory uh, there are compulsory to understand what to adult to female education. These are some people who don't have access to education, you can say, and don't get access to education, this type of, and there are some person. Okay. And here I would add on what a person almost at least education should be gained, should be earned by a person. At least that person cannot face in their life. Through education, at least person could understand what is happening in their life, what is happening in their society. From difficult challenges, a person could understand, could face, could fight. Okay. From disease, from unhealthy, a person can take a decision in their life. So at least to understand in their life, there will be compulsory to gain, to earn education. Conclusion, let's understand. The spread of education and health services across different sectors of a society should be ensured. Yeah, absolutely. Different sectors of the society. There are a lot of society in our country, and there should be ensured by people. For example, government authorities. So a spread of education and a spread of health services. These are only two measures. Apart from this, resources come, but these are two major resources in a life of a person. These are two resources. First, in a life of a person should have what education, whereas a person should be healthy. Okay. And today we can see this two type of a person don't have access, don't have education. This type of a person, how are this type of a person facing in their life? Whereas person who are unhealthy, you can see, when you go going to hospital, you can see types of disease people. Okay. And now India has a rich stock of scientific and technical manpower in the world. Okay. So we had understood about expenditure on education, expenditure on information, expenditure on health, migration. Let's understand again about it. Expenditure on education. There can be expend on education by government. So here a role of a public will come also. Even role of a public will come. Here parents you can say, because parents will send to their children in a school. There are two types of school, one side government and one side private. Okay. Here if parents don't have more money, to send their children in a school, in private school, then their children can send in government school. Okay, we are looking what is the condition, what are the status, what are situation in government schools. But at least in environmental can be sent children's can be sent in environmental of education, in environmental education. Okay, so that children can understand what happens in a school, in colleges, in university. Okay, at least can understand. Children can understand. Whereas here in this context, we understood about expenditure on education. This type of people are need to get what education on this education. Okay, then next is expenditure on health. Expenditure on information. When person will have education, then to get information will be easy. It will be easy. Whereas when person will have education, then person can understand about health. Person who migrate from one place to another place. Why? Because of unemployment. Because of they are unemployment, so they want to be employment. That's why any person wants to migrate from one place to another place. And here there is some reason. There are some reason. First of all, you can say to better jobs, to get high salaries. That's why some people want to migrate from one place to another place. Okay, here we are looking what in this four aspects that are linking among these four aspects. Education, that is related to information. Both these are related to health. When these three will not be available in rural areas, then person will migrate from their native places to another place. Why? Because lack of these facilities. So any person want to become employment, then unemployment. Okay, from here till here I hope we are clear, and that's all